Kano. So it's very important to be aware of what's going on locally, not just the national level, which everybody has their eyes on it. But we are a national nonprofit, nonpartisan, so we're not going to dictate you who to vote for, but I'm just here to support in any way that I can to register you to vote today. So how are we going to do this to go ahead and register them to vote?
So real quick, Janet, we do have a translator. If anyone needs translation, she's currently here. Norma, if you could unmute yourself and ask if anyone needs help.
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Norma Ochoa y si necesitan traducir, puedo traducir. Gracias.
Okay. If no one needs help, Norma will still be here. You can just write in the chat if you need her. She'll also write in the chat if you guys need her. So Janet, I guess we could recognize or help them register to vote virtually. We do have some questions. A student did register to vote last year. Do they have to do it again?
No, if you already registered once, you don't have to re-register again. The only couple of reasons that you're going to re-register is if there's a change of address, change of name, change of political party, or change of signature. Those are the only 4 reasons if you're going to re-register to vote. But you can always double check to check your voter status if you have any doubts, if you are registered to vote. I usually always use the Register of Voters office for Riverside County or the Secretary of State office website, and you can always check on there and say voter status is on your left-hand side for the Register of Voters office for Riverside County, and you just put in the basics information that you input when you firstly register to vote. So it's going to be your first name. I just recently did it, so it was first name, either last 4 of your social, and ID or California ID or driver's license. But you can always update it if for any 4 of those reasons. But if you're already registered, you're fine. But if you're having doubts, I would double check. And I can help you with that too, if you just want to, for me to guide you how to check your status.
Yeah, if you could show them the website where they could check their status to make sure. And then also just a reminder, if you are 16 and a US citizen, you can pre-register to vote. If you're 18, you can register to vote and vote in this upcoming election, but this is the deadline to register to vote is today. So Janet, the other questions we had is, what if they did register to vote, but they're not sure if their address is correct? Can they fix that still?
Yeah, they can update it. So the same way you registered the first time, you can always make updates, but of course you want to make sure that we get those updates before the deadline. So today, so you can just update that online, and I'll share the website as well. The one I mentioned that I always use is, and I'll put it in the chat. Is there a chat I can indicate it in? Yes, I can. Okay, so I'll add it in the chat. It's voteinfo.net, and this is for Riverside County. I usually also sometimes use the Secretary of State office website, but I got so used to the Register of Voters office website that it always helps me, guide me, and easier the way to see it. But yeah, what you can just go on voteinfo.net, and then you will scroll down on the left-hand side midway of the website, and my register to vote, or you can register to vote online to re-register. But we also have our own website through Mi Familia Vota to register students or community members to vote, either re-register or register to vote. The only reason we do it through our website first is because we want to dictate what corresponding office the registration forms are coming from. And also you get updates of Mi Familia Vota, of any events that are coming up, any resources are available. We've been doing a couple of workshops going over the propositions, because we do want to be informed when we do fill out our ballots or what the propositions are all about, because the language on it tends to be confusing, and it confuses even myself at times, where I have to use voter guides to make sure that I understand what the proposition is. And one of the voter guides that we use all the time, or at least I do, is the League of Women's Voters Guide. And it's used, they have several languages, so Spanish, English, Tagalog, Vietnamese, Chinese. So it's a pretty great voter guide and easy to access as well. And it's free online.
Great. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and write them in the chat regarding voter registration. If not, we'll move on to financial aid. Anybody have any questions or concerns that you want to know about voter registration and voting in this upcoming election? Janet, what if they want to drop off their voter registration at a poll? Where would they do that? How would they find where to drop it off?
Okay, so good question. I just had that question this morning. So there are already ballot drop-off locations throughout Riverside County. I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe there's 80 of them, but they're throughout Riverside County. So if you live in, I live in the city of Riverside. I mean, sorry, in the city of Paris. It will dictate me which area is a perfect area to go to. But I can also have you drop off locations. Oh, as a map. Okay, yeah, so I can share that as well with you, Priscilla. And it goes off from like different cities throughout Riverside County. And most of them seem to be either at libraries, city, what is called city clerk's office, and also at community centers. And those are open, already open to drop off your vote by mail ballot. It's open, it has been opened locations, drop off locations, October 5th through November 2nd. And the time frames currently right now for those is 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. But of course, if you wait till the last minute, like we all do sometimes, you can still drop off your ballot at the Register of Voters office, or you can drop it off at any voting center that's going to be through Riverside County. So that's a separate list of locations when you can drop off your ballot. Or another method, of course, is to mail it in, but make sure that it is postmarked by election day. But we rather not wait till last minute. So I do really highly recommend, if you already have your ballot, fill it out as soon as possible. I haven't filled mine yet because I'm still, I am a procrastinator as well. But just, get on top of it, make sure you fill it out as quickly as possible. And also the voter guides are really essential to be able to make sure that what you vote on in the ballot, the propositions, you're more informed of what's going on. And also for the candidates, there are several candidate forums, and the League of Women's Voters has been leading some of those, not just for mayor, because we're just going to be candidates for mayor. And also for Riverside Unified School District, they have a Board of Education. So there's several positions and that are coming up. So you want to be aware of what's going on in your surroundings.
Okay, one more question that a student messaged me. They wanted to know, why is it important to pre-register to vote if they can't vote in the upcoming election if they're 16?
Okay, so that is a really good question. I've asked myself questions that before, but I see it as a time frame for you to start already thinking, okay, when we're 16, we can pre-register, but it also gives you the opportunity to start getting more involved civically. And once you are able to vote when you turn 18, your name's already in the Register of Voters office system. So as soon as you turn 18, then you're going to start receiving all your voter guides, your ballots, any updates of elections that are coming up. So it already puts you in the system. You don't necessarily have to pre-register, but I do highly recommend it, because that is a really great time for you to start thinking, okay, what is voter registration? Even the thought of, giving you that, kind of waving that idea of voting, you put yourself in a mindset like, okay, so what's voting? Yeah, I'm not familiar. And a lot of students are not familiar with political parties, and that would be a great opportunity to start thinking about, or even getting involved in various organizations that are, promoting civic engagement, as we do have a youth program that promotes civic engagement with the youth. So thank you for asking that question.
Okay, I put the voter registration link in the chat, so if you guys would like to register to vote, you still can. Today's the deadline. If there's no more questions, we'll move on to the next thing on the agenda. Going once, going twice. I don't see any more questions. All right, Janet.